If you're new to Fusion 360, you don't need to know all 1400 commands. You only need about 12. Let me show you in the second part of this series. Okay, this is lesson 2. We're building off of lesson 1. Real quick here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a review. And you know what? We're going to make our lives easier here. We're going to switch over to millimeters. Millimeters is typically the dimension they use for bicycles. So we are going to make a 32 millimeter. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting this on the dead center, and you're going to see why in a second. So remember from our first lesson that we extruded, so we're going to hit E. And just as you remember before, we can drag to see which way we're going. So how about we go 150 millimeters. Okay. And that's this is what our handle grip looks like. Now we can do this one of two ways. What we're going to do is we're going to sketch a hole on here, and I can hear some of you who are skeptical of this method, and I get it, but we are learning the same commands again and again and again. So this is the inner diameter here. And of course, we're going to do a finish sketch, and we're going to hit extrude, and we're going to click here, and we're going to extrude the distance. And so the distance we're going to do is going to be 140. 140. This is going to be a cut. And looks like it didn't show that the actual cut was going to go inside. So we'll make it negative. You know, I think 145 looks better. Okay. So now we have a tube for this. So now let's roll over to the command that is revolve. And that is our command for today. And as you remember here, you can click this little cube. And we are going to sketch. Watch this here. We're going to hide this body briefly. We're going to do a sketch on this plane. So we're going to unhide it here, and we're going to project. So I'm going to push P. We're going to select geometry. Let's select the body. Let's see how that worked. All right, that's what I wanted. So what we're going to do at the moment here is we're just going to show how this revolve command works. And let's do something like this. Now I'm going to hit escape here, and I'm going to push D for dimension. And so we're going to make that 1 millimeter here. And then we're going to make this 3. I'm just picking numbers out of the air randomly. And quick finish of the sketch. Now I can come over here, but here's another fun thing. I'll do a right click here and see how I can hit OK. I can have all sorts of commands right at my fingertips. So we have the ability here to have new options, right? I just hit so I can repeat a dimension. So we're going to finish sketch here. And if you notice, we're going to turn that body back on, and see kind of hidden right in there is that little sketch. We're going to come up to revolve here, and we're going to select this. And the operation is going to be a cut. And then here's the axis piece. Since we line this up in the dead center of this axis, we saved ourselves a step. And so look at that. We can choose our angle, we can choose a partial, we can cut, we can extrude, we can do all these things. But look at this. We have now added some we've added a little bit of an area to help grab onto. And we're just going to keep on doing this here. Again, we learn through repetition. So how about we do another sketch? We're going to put it on that same plane we did before. And we're going to project again. So I pushed P, and this time we'll select bodies here. Okay, and then let's hide this to make this easier on ourselves. This time I'm just going to drop a circle in. Like that. You know what? I'm going to put a couple in here. Oops. I'm going to hit escape to get out of this circle command. And now I'm pushing D for dimension. And let's see what one looks like. Oop. I think that's too small. Let's make this a 2. And we'll make this a 2. I hit enter, of course. And you know what? Make this a 2 also. And here we'll right click and we'll see that we can hit OK and we'll be done with that. I tend to hit escape a lot. Other people disagree with me. And so we'll do a quick finish sketch here. And I like to double click the mouse wheel to kind of reorient myself. We're going to turn this body back on. And we're going to click this corner here to try to see our commands. So let's do our quick revolve command. And so here's all sorts of fun little exercises we can do. So I've selected this profile. And then, of course, we're going to select the same axis here. See how this turned blue? And look, it was smart enough to predict I wanted to cut this. Let's see what other options we have with the revolve command. Let me jump back in here. Okay, so I reopened it a few times. And you can see all the amazing cuts we just made. And so poke around here. You can see there's all sorts of options. We can make this 90 degrees. Right? And now, look how that is. That looks kind of 1980s here. We can make a 180. Or I guess we made a little too many. But we can do a half. And then a quick OK. All right, real quick. I've been dipping down in here, but I haven't been showing to you on your screen. I've been trying to make this as less over or understandable as possible. So what I've been doing here is I'm clicking on this here. And what I have been doing is I can jump into these commands here. So in our case here, I'm going to double click this, and then I'm going to try to select these bodies here. And now this gives me the ability to make a ring. So not only when I made that circle, I can make a cut, but I select another piece and I can select a ring. And what are you doing, you silly goose? We're going to hit OK and come back into this. I don't know why you're being so fussy here. And again, just being so fussy. Okay. So look at that. So now we have a square notch and then 3 raised circles, which is kind of fun. So now that I've moved my screen down and we become a little bit more aware with what this program can do, let me show you this cool thing. So you can slide this and suppress various features in your timeline, right? And so what happens is I can I can revert back old features, which makes this so incredibly powerful. Watch, this one's going to remove our hole in it, right? And so then I can move forward and backwards as we show our design to other people. And as we think through this design, we now can move forward and backwards and make changes to only the specific part we want to. So, for example, here, let's go back to this sketch. I'm going to turn off this body and then watch this. We're going to dimension from here to here, 12. Yeah, we like that. We'll make that 12 precisely. And then guess what? We're going to do this again. So with one simple change, come up here to finish sketch, we can now change all sorts of parameters forward and backwards in time. And that's one of the superpowers of this. Come back for the next episode, which is patterns.